If you want to learn about NFTs and crypto and how it might work with real estate, make sure to tune in and watch the rest of this video.
Everybody, Cristina Ingram here with the Ingram Group of Keller Realty Las Vegas, and I'm here with Danny Fee. He is a colleague of mine and a crypto NFT guru.
No, I wouldn't say guru. I've been diving into it for quite some time though. But yeah, I know a little bit about it. I'd say that.
He knows more than I do. So that's why we brought him, because we want to dive into the world of crypto and NFTs and how it will affect the real estate market and the future, like the impact of it. Will it have an impact on real estate agents? Will our jobs not be necessary? Title companies? Because I've read several articles that, doomsday for title companies or.
Yeah, no, and I've thought about those things. Like the first time I bought Bitcoin was in 2013. I was at my Thanksgiving gathering and a relative told me to buy it. So I started learning more about it then. As far as will it replace us in our jobs? I don't think so, but it definitely has a lot of possibilities to disrupt, just like the technology we have now has started to disrupt the industry.
Okay.
But we're definitely still here, and we're still helping people buy and sell houses. If anything, it might potentially make a transaction more efficient, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, for people like myself who are struggling, what is an NFT?
So NFT stands for non-fungible token. Something that's non-fungible, just think of it as harder to exchange. So when you think of something that's fungible, think of a dollar.
Okay.
I don't have a dollar on me because I don't really carry that much cash anymore. But if I did have a dollar, I could have a dollar, you could have a dollar. They're technically two separate dollars, but it's really easy to exchange them. Right? A dollar is a dollar is a dollar. There's a whole bunch of dollars out there in the world, and it's easy to exchange. It's very fungible because of that. A non-fungible token is something that is extremely unique. There is a special digital signature on that specific token that makes it verifiably unique. If you were to do what's called blockchain analysis and really look onto the blockchain, which is what crypto is pretty much based on, you can prove that a specific token, and it could be a piece of digital art, it could be a series of a collection of a pass.
Could be a house.
It could be a ticket to a basketball game.
Okay.
But it's non-fungible for the fact that it's unique and it doesn't exchange quite as well as something like a dollar. You need a buyer for that specific token because there's literally only one of them in existence.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're not making any more?
So not of that specific one.
Okay.
It's that one token is uniquely verifiable. It's the only one that could ever really exist. So for instance,
It's like the Mona Lisa.
Yeah, the Mona Lisa is a real life painting. It's not tokenized on the blockchain, but it is a real piece of art, and it is
Worth a lot of money.
It's worth almost $1 billion now. But it's because there's only one of them.
Right.
Human nature and human psychology is strange in the sense that we like to have things that
can't have.
Other people can't have. And if we know and everyone else knows that you own that one thing that no one else can have, it's kind of like a status, ego stroke, so to speak. But it also can create more demand for that item because there's only one of them. There's way less supply. And if there's a lot of demand for something that has an extremely low supply, the price can go up quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That makes it understandable. So now getting into NFTs in real estate, because there was one that was just purchased on an NFT in Tampa, Florida, right?
Yeah, Tampa, Florida. That's, I think, the first one. actually happened in Kyiv, Ukraine.
Right. The first one in the United States.
Yeah, was in Tampa, Florida. And so that home is still a home.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about it, homes themselves are non-fungible in nature, right? There are no two properties that are the same.
Correct.
They're all on a different piece of land. They usually have different layouts.
Problems.
And even if they are on the same building, there can be a bunch of different units within that building, and each one of those units are verifiably unique.
Okay.
But the thing that is normally done is that they get recorded, but not on a blockchain. They get recorded with your local municipality.
Correct.
Which is, in our case here in Las Vegas, the Clark County Recorder's Office.
Mm-hmm.
And that still took place with what happened in Tampa Bay. However, what I believe happened was the ownership of that property was put into a corporation, an LLC, and then that was recorded onto the blockchain. So whoever owned that NFT, which was
now owns that company,
now owns that company, and that company owns that house.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So it's still really new.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the sales price of how much Ethereum it sold for, which was only a couple of months ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you look at the price of Ethereum today, you'll see that we're kind of in a huge decline right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so is the entire stock market. The whole market in general is down. So whoever sold it for ETH, hopefully they converted it to
dollars.
Dollars. And so when I say it's really new right now, it's unique, it's fun, it's kind of experimental, but there are so many opportunities that could arise from it. And I think we're going to see most of that development happen during what we're now in, which most would identify as a bear market. When these types of speculative assets,
Mm-hmm.
cryptocurrencies, NFTs are seeing drastic declines right now, but the community is still building. And it's usually in times like this where they even build and innovate even more.
Correct.
Right.
Okay. So I guess when I was reading about this particular transaction, what I found concerning on an NFT on the blockchain, if they're the original person of that original NFT, they somehow get a royalty every time that property is exchanged. So if I sold the property to you and then you sold it to Holly over here, I somehow would still get a royalty from it.
It totally depends. So blockchain technology started with Bitcoin, and then there have been thousands and thousands and thousands of innovations since
Mm-hmm.
then. The next most popular one is what's called Ethereum. And the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum is that a lot of developers found it more enticing. They were more motivated to develop different types of applications on the Ethereum blockchain as opposed to the Bitcoin blockchain. I don't want to get too deep into the reasons why, but just know that there are a lot of very smart technological people like software engineers, graphic designers, developers who are creating these innovations on the Ethereum blockchain. And if you look at the NFT market, you'll see that most of the NFTs that exist were created on the Ethereum blockchain. And the way they do that is they write what are called smart contracts. The founder of Ethereum and their organization,
Mm-hmm.
like the DAO, there's actually an organization of people, they have voting rights and governance, and there was these tokens that were written with a language called Solidity,
Mm-hmm.
and that is where you can program a smart contract to tell that token to do whatever you want when an exchange takes place. So if that NFT was programmed to have a 10% royalty that goes to the original contract holder, whoever holds the keys to the contract, who created that NFT, then at that point, whenever that NFT is bought and sold on a certain exchange, then by definition, there could be a royalty paid out to the original contract holder of that NFT, if
So
that makes
when
sense.
So when you're buying one of these, if that's something that's a concern for you, you've got to make sure that that wasn't part of the original.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so new to tokenize a property like this too. I would definitely want to make sure that I actually own the keys to that contract, and that's what was actually transferring to me.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you bought the NFT from the person who deployed that contract, and it was a separate contract, like it's a separate ID number on the blockchain, it's a separate token, then they could technically go and change the code and change those royalties at any time. And that's what can happen with like typical NFT derivative collection projects. Real popular ones are like the Bored Ape Yacht Club, if you've ever heard of that. Cool Cats. There are a lot of what are called like blue chip projects where a creator of that NFT will create like 10,000 NFTs in a collection, and then people can go onto the website and mint them or create them. And eventually all 10,000 are distributed to various different holders. And so whenever those are bought and sold on an exchange like OpenSea, where a lot of NFTs are bought and sold, they have in their original contract that a royalty is paid out each time one of those gets bought or sold on the exchange. They could actually go into that contract and change that at any time. So, and it's happened before, right? So if you were to buy a property as an NFT, I would definitely make sure that you or whoever's representing you understands smart contracts and understands how to take full ownership of that asset and know exactly what the terms are of that ownership before they actually pay for it.
So now the smart contract is part of the blockchain. I want to make sure I'm following this, correct?
Yeah, well, it's like the program that defines how that NFT works, and that NFT lives on the blockchain.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the smart contract kind of just is part of that, and it can't be modified, or it can always be tracked.
Well, it can always be tracked on that blockchain, especially for Ethereum.
So in theory, it would make it a little easier or quicker to do a contract instead of like to exchange property, instead of doing title searches, this, it would already all be there.
Yeah.
On the NFT.
Yeah, and there's a really good company out there, probably the innovator and pioneer in this space as far as trying to combine NFTs with real property, and that's Propy.
Okay.
So Propy. I would definitely I'm in their Discord, I'm asking questions. There's still a lot that's unknown, like what happens if a mechanics lien gets filed on the property after it's been an NFT, or what happens if a tax lien gets placed on the property. Does that tax lien automatically get recorded onto the blockchain? Does the local municipality know how to do that, and are they set up for it? Maybe in Tampa Bay, and I've only read articles on this, they're able to do that. I've actually went and downloaded the LLC documents and read them, but how will that play out? I'm not quite sure. What I can tell you is that if it's a really popular property, it does make it a lot easier for whoever's selling that property to attract a lot of offers. And they can have those funds transferred instantly to take ownership if the seller of that property who tokenizes that property and makes it an NFT has everything set up front.
So would the loan have to be set up front prior to, like if this wasn't a cash purchase and they were getting a mortgage, how would that work?
So right now, I'm not aware of any underwriters that are putting loans out on properties that are NFTs. Okay. I know that there are lenders who lend against cryptocurrencies though. Oh, okay. And so that's a way where you can also easily, without going through, after you're the owner of a property, when it's turned into an NFT, you will probably really easily be able to take out a loan against that NFT if it's determined to be a certain amount of value. There are crypto lenders out there who would probably happily do that. They have their own terms and agreements on how that works, but it's
so this could heavily impact the mortgage industry.
Yeah, no, it could. It could provide more options for people instead of just having to do a traditional mortgage, traditional refi, traditional HELOC. If it's a tokenized NFT as a property, now you're bringing in another option for that homeowner or NFT owner as far as financing options go. It could become an industry standard in the future. It's been kind of like the wild, wild west, where there can be a lot of scams. There can be a lot of things that go wrong, which are kind of called rug pulls. Because of that particular problem that's taking place literally over the last 2 to 3 days, you can bet that Congress is taking a look at this, and there are a lot of people who are upset. Today, it dipped below 100 Ethereum for the cheapest one.